3 years ago, my parents Eugene and Janette decided their granddaughter deserved better than living with me part-time, so they kidnapped her and called me a pathetic failure in court. Now, they're homeless, broke, and begging me for help. I'm 32, divorced from Rachel when our daughter Maeve was 2. I worked as a warehouse supervisor making decent money, but my parents measured success by job titles and square footage. When Rachel left me for Rex, a pharmaceutical sales guy with money and a big house, my parents took her side. Eugene worked in manufacturing management. Janette taught elementary school for 30 years. Every family gathering turned into an interrogation about when I'd get a real career instead of settling for manual labor. It happened on a Thursday in November. I'd picked up a double shift for overtime. Maeve was supposed to stay with my parents that evening. I got home around 2 a.m. to find my apartment door open and Maeve gone. There was an envelope on my counter. The typed letter said they'd taken Maeve to Rachel's house where she belonged, that they couldn't watch their granddaughter suffer because of my poor life choices. The letter called me a pathetic failure who lived in filth, said, real fathers don't make their children live in squalor while working dead-end jobs with no future. I called Eugene. He answered smug, look at yourself. 32 years old, barely above minimum wage, studio apartment with pest problems. Maeve deserves better. Rex has a real job. Janette got on the line and laughed. Maybe this will finally motivate you to do something with your life instead of settling for mediocrity. I spent the night researching parental kidnapping laws, filed police reports and emergency custody motions the next day. Rachel filed for emergency custody modification, claiming I was mentally unstable due to financial stress. The custody battle took 8 months. Eugene and Janette testified against me, told the judge I was unfit, that Maeve cried at my apartment. All lies. The judge ruled in my favor, found no evidence of neglect, called their actions inappropriate, and their testimony biased. They were shocked. I blocked their numbers that day, but I wasn't done. Here's what they didn't know. I'd been saving for years. That studio apartment wasn't because I couldn't afford better. It was because I was putting away every extra dollar, preparing for this fight. Eugene had given me access to his financial accounts when I'd helped him with retirement planning for 3 years. I used that access to create complications. Changed addresses slightly, updated phone numbers 1 digit off, small changes that triggered automatic fraud reviews. Retirement distributions got held up in investigations for months. By the time money came through, they'd missed mortgage payments. The bank foreclosed. 5 weeks ago, Eugene had a heart attack. Medical bills piled up. Last week, their attorney left a desperate voicemail. They were living in their 2008 Toyota Camry, getting food from church pantries, begging for forgiveness. Yesterday, they showed up at my workplace. Eugene had lost 30 pounds. Janette's hair was gray and uncombed. In the parking lot, Eugene said they knew I'd been interfering with their finances, that they could take me to court. I laughed. Told him to try proving it. Janette screamed that I was vindictive, that they'd made one mistake 3 years ago, that Eugene's heart attack was my fault. I told them they didn't make one mistake. They made dozens of calculated choices. Chose to kidnap Maeve. Chose to write that letter. Chose to lie in court. Every single thing that happened to them was their own doing. They filed a grandparents' rights petition to force visitation. I filed a defamation lawsuit for their false testimony and got a restraining order after Janette tried to see Maeve at school. The judge denied their petition, saying grandparents' rights don't exist to reward people who kidnap their grandchildren and lied in court. Eugene lost it. Started yelling that I'd manipulated everyone. The bailiff escorted him out. Their attorney keeps calling. Eugene and Janette are officially homeless, staying with church members until people run out of patience. The Camry broke down. Eugene can barely walk. Janette's having panic attacks multiple times daily. They're begging to drop the lawsuits. Said they'll do anything, admit anything, apologize however I want. I haven't called back. I spent 3 years preparing for this moment. 3 years of building my career, saving money, keeping records, specifically so I'd be in a position of strength when they came crawling back. Eugene called me a pathetic failure. Janette laughed while telling me I couldn't provide for my daughter. They testified I was mentally unstable. They tried to take my child to prove I wasn't good enough. Now they're living in a broken down car while I sit in my 2-bedroom apartment with Maeve asleep in her room, working my operations manager job that pays enough to save for her college fund. I'm not helping them. Not now, not ever.